Now the Upanishads offer a third perspective. And by the way, you can't go to an Upanishad, open that, and then 1, 2, 3. It's not like that. It's all spread out. So these teachings not available in books and things, but that's why listen up carefully. They are assimilated after years of learning, study, digestion. Okay. So now the third perspective on the Supreme Divinity's role with the universes as the instrumental cause. So how is this? For this, I have to now, I'm doing pretty well. I think time-wise, I managed. Okay, so I'll start it and then I might continue it next time. But I'll just give you an idea. How are things created? How do things come about? I have to step back deeper into the Vedic philosophy. So just bear with me and don't get afraid of Sanskrit because you don't have to remember these Sanskrit words. Unless you want to, and then you can re-listen to this video and then probably learn them. There was one theory of creation which says, in Sanskrit it says Arambhavad, which means the theory of new creation. What it means is every time something is created in the universe, it's an act of original creation. And so there is sesame seed and then there is oil, and they are just all new creations happening from Ishvara. The next theory said no, cause and effect. And that theory is called Satkaryavad, which means for oil to exist, seed has to exist, sesame seed. For sesame seed to exist, plant has to exist. For plant to exist, soil has to exist. So it went back, it made more sense. But then, and at the most, scientists can say that this leads to this, this leads to this. And Ayurveda loves this, and so we work with it. It works, this cause and effect. It works. But this is where now we go into the Upanishads and into the work of my lineage, Advaita. This lesser known theory is the key. And this theory is called Vivartavad. Vivartavad. According to Vivartavad, and a wave rises, a giant tidal wave rises, and it has height and depth and foam and glory. But does it have any individuality apart from the ocean? After a while it subsides, it's no longer existing. That means that it was an appearance, a brief appearance. Temporarily, it felt like it had an existence. Definitely, when you saw it rise tall, but then it ends. Similarly, we see things in our dream. We have really detailed dreams. But ultimately, it was an appearance. So according to Vivartavad, there is no creation happening. None at all. And now I'm taking you into the metaphysical. And I don't know if you'll be able to hang there, but I'm taking you anyway because I have to complete this 3-part way of understanding Ishvara. And you can take which one you want. Creator, intelligent substance, or the ultimate truth, the ocean, where this whole world is merely a reflection of that ultimate Ishvara. That ultimate Ishvara, Brahman, there is no change in it. This is only an appearance. Till we are asleep, the wave thinks, I'm a wave. I have life. I have ambition. I'm going to rise. Oh my God, I'm dying. But actually, none of this is happening. And this is simply present, observing. So this was all an appearance. Just like we have dreams, we think they're so important. The agenda in the dreams is so, so important. When we wake up, kaput, all gone. Similarly, when we wake up from this waking dream, all gone. Nothing. None of this exists. And so from this perspective, Ishvara is the ultimate truth, self-sustained, shining, and this whole world and the creatures and the business and the birth and death and all of this are so all just this like kind of discombobulated shadow, but not shadow in physical space, but shadow in our own brains. This may be too confusing for a lot of you. I just wanted to tell you that there is a depth of thinking in the Upanishads about Ishvara, the God principle. And I just wanted to give you an idea of how the seers were thinking. Give me a minute. Because I'm just checking something. There is a classic teaching in the Upanishads about walking into a room where the light is low and there is a coiled rope, and we think it's a snake. And we have like our heartbeat goes up, we have anxiety, we sweat, we get really scared. So on turning on the light, and the person who turns on the light is said to be the guru. But when you turn on the light, you see that it was only a rope. And so you relax. But during the time you thought there was a snake enough to elicit a panic attack within you. Right? But ultimately, it was only an appearance. An appearance of what? An appearance of the rope. So the rope here is Ishvara, and the snake is the world of pain, difficulty, birth, death, problems. Okay? So Vivarta neither means creation, neither means evolution, neither means transformation. The word Vivarta literally means an appearance. And because every appearance needs something solid for it to be a shadow or an appearance of that, to be an image of that, or to allude to that, then that originality is Brahman, Ishvara, the pure consciousness. So according to this, and this is the only truth. This is it. And all of this is an appearance. And that is why people who live at this level, when you go there, everything feels not that important. Only the original feels important. Vivarta means also means appearance. Vivarta also means that which is constantly changing from one state to another. Why? Because it's not real. That is why there is aging, change, decay, universes collapse, things are just happening here. So it's a changeable phenomena, a grand illusion, a grand subjective shadow play that's going on here. And so from this third level, we see Ishvara as kind of the ultimate truth, still without making any effort, but this whole other contrived reality is taking place. And this is where the Jnana Yogi starts settling down inside and saying, wait, inside me also this ultimate reality lives as self. So there are two parts of me. There is the real part of me, the God part of me, the Ishvara part of me, the Atma part of me, and then there is all this changeable part of me. And life is that. So we see it in ourselves, Purusha and Prakriti, as the yoga describes it. Purusha is the God principle, the Ishvara principle, the Atma principle, which is still, and Prakriti is the changeable principle. Similarly, at a cosmic level, Ishvara is the still principle. It is neither created nor done anything. And just because of its presence, this whole thing is happening. This is all I can tell you right now because you're not there. But at this basic level, if I can write a blog on this, then I can definitely share with all of you who are at mixed levels of study. But it's fascinating to see the relationship of Ishvara with the world. When we see Ishvara as the creator principle, we then acknowledge this amazing intelligence that has created an intelligent universe. When we see Ishvara as the raw material, the substratum, then we see Ishvara as transformed into the world. And when we see Ishvara as the ultimate truth, transcendent truth, then we see all the shenanigans of the world as some sense of separation from Ishvara, and the yogic journey begins. So it's a very fascinating three-part relationship. So I invite you to close your eyes and kind of just let this sink in. Let's begin with a very simple understanding that even if this is an appearance, it's a super intelligent appearance, right? So you can imagine how intelligent, what intelligence, its absolute intelligence is Ishvara. The omniscience of Ishvara is proved here through the intelligence of this universe, of every particle. Intelligence. The omniscience means the ultimate, like, there is no room for non-intelligence here. It's not borrowed intelligence. It is the source of intelligence is Ishvara. The fact that Ishvara is the raw material, then the omnipresence. And this is where if you have religious beliefs, then taking Ishvara from that altar, from that institution, and seeing Ishvara omnipresent, that's the work we have to do. That's where we stretch our spiritual muscle. And this works for every person with a religious background. I know of really wise Hindus who might say, but Ishvara lives in this Ganesha. And that's it. So we have to stretch our imagination to omniscience and omnipresence of Ishvara and omnipotency. Look at the power. Enough power to create, enough power to become, and enough power even to deflect an appearance. So we have come to three conclusions. Omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. Write these three words. It's the ultimate power, ultimate intelligence, and ultimate presence is Ishvara. It's good to lie down on the ground and look at every blade of grass and imagine it as Ishvara. Look at the soil and every particle of soil as Ishvara. Every leaf as Ishvara. The vast sky as Ishvara. Then while you're lying down, think of all the people who are kind to you as Ishvara, and all the people who are difficult to you as Ishvara, and all the people who are challenging you as Ishvara. You are truly in Ishvara show, aren't you? Then who are you? And this is where then you have to challenge your own separation from Ishvara. If Ishvara is this world and I belong to this world, then Ishvara is within me somewhere. Ishvara is that Shakti because of which I'm aware. It's myself. This is where the goddess, the God, the light dwells within you. Well, this shall give you a lot of, you can see how your small ego will kind of decompose, not from an ugly perspective, but from I mean, you've been showering in chlorine water and suddenly you get goat milk and saffron and roses to take a shower in or bathe in, that's Ishvara for you. So it's not about, at some point we plug into the omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence of Ishvara, but to begin with, at least we should know that Ishvara is that principle. And that helps us know that we are in Ishvara's home. We are wearing bodies that are made up of Ishvara's raw material. 5 elements come from Ishvara. And all of that, I'd like to hear from you next time I meet you. What did these contemplations do for you? How did they support you? How did they support your sense of identity when you understand the divine in this perspective? And let's just take a moment to be grateful to the seers of the Upanishads for bringing us this beautiful, unique perspective. Yeah. So before we close, let's take a little 1 or 2 word feedback from you in the text, in the chat box. So that these teachings don't become another tale or story. You'll have to really use your imagination, use your intellect to connect with Ishvara as creator, as cause, and as the ultimate truth, transcendent truth.
There are words coming into the chat now. Sounded like it's intriguing perspectives and it's illuminating.
Beautiful.
Ultimate divine dream.
Ultimate divine dream. Ultimate divine dream.
The truth. Another share. One form, all forms, no form.
Yep.
Ishvara as opener, mesmerizing. Seems like the ultimate truth aspect encompasses the two.
Yeah. A lot of the Bhakti Yoga teachings are not complicated, but this Vivartavad is because it is a high teaching meant for the mystics, but it still nevertheless falls in Bhakti Yoga because I think non-duality or that one transcendent truth has all of Indian spiritual teachings mesmerized, and they always keep entering from different doors. And, so time to time we encounter them, but future teachings will be simpler, I promise. All right. Thank you so much. It makes sense now why we chant Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormam Vedamgamaya. Because this Asat to Sat, Sat is another word for Ishvara. And Asat is another word for illusion. And Sat is that ultimate truth. So while we are hovering around here in the illusion, we want to find connection with the truth. We want to go from darkness where we don't know. So it's the darkness orchestrated by the ego to the Jyoti. Jyoti is another word for light. To the light of what? The divine self within. The divine super self, the divine individual self. One. And may we go from mortality, which means death to death. It's not just the one death that's coming out for each one of us. No. We're talking about journeying from this mortal frame, because in this dream, we tend to die. Just like we wake up from a dream and the dream body dies, then we wake up from this living dream and then this body dies. We want to wake up from this. I don't know the word for it, but it's coming and going, samsara. And we want to wake up to the immortal truth of Ishvara without and within. So it's a beautiful journey. And I beckon you to dig in deep. And when we are done with bhakti, we'll go into karma yoga and slowly we will keep growing into it. Take care.